Mr. Wrong. Mr. Wrong. When was the last time we had you, Mr. Wrong? Let's see here. I believe it was in the 2.7s. Not too long ago, Mr. Wrong. Oops. Not sure how I did that. 2.7. Yeah, 2.7.5 the junk mail, yes. Which was like the mail that you get to your head. And it's like literally just advertisements. Even though I'm confused, I think SB2832 is unique, and yes, I used to. Oh, my bad. You'll be sent to unique jail for that. The best way to describe it in a very, very, very simple way. Of course, there's a lot more to it. Imagine it's a room, and occasionally a fucking portal opens up, and you get to see into another dimension. That's the best way, like, that's the most simplest way to explain it. There's of course more to it, but like, that's all you have to think about. And the portal is either a potential, like a different reality, a potential future, a fictional reality, as we saw the Avengers came out there as well. But yeah. But yes, the last one we had from Mr. Wrong was 2.7.5.2. And now we got Lineage of Vaski. Lineage of First of all, it's Thaumiel. No, just kidding. Can you imagine if it was actually Thaumiel? That would be insane. But why I looked like that is because who that? Who that? That guy reminds me of a friend my dad has. Keller. Previously Euclid, upgraded since the 1st 7th 1975. Special containment procedures. SB2A33 instances are to be held in individual modified humanoid containment cell at Site 147, equipped with hermetically sealed walls and an observation window made of laminated ballistic glass. These cells are to undergo daily remote decontamination. Each SB2A33 instance is to be supplied a bottle of mineral water and nutrients capsules thrice per day, delivered via inbuilt pneumatic tubes. Interviews conducted with any SB2A33 instances are to be done via remote microphone. And here we have Dash 52 photographed prior to its containment. So this was before it got contained, okay. Update 1st 7th 1975. World Task Force Omega 44 Death Seekers is tasked with identifying and capturing any wild SB2A33 instances in northwestern India. While interacting with SB2A33 instances, MTF Omega 44 operators are to don Class 4 hazmat suits at all time. Let me just check something real quickly, guys. Just something real quick. Okay. And I'm back. Update 1st 10th 2010. All matters pertaining to SB2A33 are handed over to the Citra Arcra Joint Command. Further information is restricted to Project Citra Arca personnel. Access restricted to Citra Arca personnel. Here we go. Pursuant to Section 377 of Citra Arcra Joint Agreement, all instances of SB2A33 currently contained by the Foundation are to be terminated. While instances of SB2A33 identified are to be captured and interrogated at once. 24 hours after initial detainment, they may be terminated. MTF Omega 44 and GOC Strike Team 3396 Mahashakti are subsumed as Citra Arca personnel and are tasked with the capture of wild SB2A33 instances, due to both teams' prior experience with SB2A33. Site 147 is designated as a holding area for captured SB2A33 instances. It will be under the purview of Citra Arca Joint Command. Termination of SB2A33 instances is to adhere to the following guidelines. Personnel supervising termination are to don Class 4 hazmat suits. SB2A33 instances slated for termination are to be incinerated following the contamination of the termination chamber. I do wonder, in all the 9,000 SCPs that exist, there has to be at least one chain of of safe Euclid, Keter, and Thaumiel in that order, right? Is there? Is there? We don't know. We don't know. There might be, but just not in like my reading ways. You know what I mean? There might have been like a case of like only Henry knows exactly. Only he knows. Where maybe you know, and one like the last two of my streams will be safe Euclid, and then the next two in my streams will be Keter, Thaumiel. So that would still be like the order as you said, but we might not be able to recognize that. Because like we have like a jump from like one stream to the next one. SB2833 refers to a group of technically identical male humans, although each instance has a unique physical appearance. All instances of SB2833 are dressed in attires typical of the Agori. Aesthetic Shaiva status known to engage in post-mortem rituals. Languages known to various SB2833 instances include Hindi, English, Gujarati, Dogri, Kashmiri, Punjabi, Urdu, and an archaic Uralic language that does not correspond to any modern known variants of the Uralic language family. Said archaic Uralic language is identified to be a lingua franca among all known SB2833 instances. SB2833 is capable of manipulating organic matter within its body, generating an anomalous parasite classified as -A. It is typically released through bodily orifices and open wounds on SB2833 body. Okay, I do not like the idea of them having a cut on the arm and suddenly like a thing comes out of it. Not blood, an actual like creature. Henry has all the SCP knowledge, and rumors goes that Henry is the one who contained all the SCPs. I can see it. I can fully see that. He wouldn't tell me, which is exactly what he should be doing, is not tell us. But I mean, look at him. That's a capable man right there. Capable Takodachi. A capable Takodachi right there. Henry has knowledge beyond our years. -A refers to a parasitic invertebrate resembling insects of the order Diptera, approximately 20 millimeters in length. I don't think it's going to tell us what Diptera is. Hi there. Also like a fly. Okay, gotcha. -A is red in coloration, capable of flight via its wings. -A typically attempts to enter the body of another vertebrate creature, referred to as a host, through the host orifices or open wounds. So it goes from one open wound orifice to another open wound orifice from a different person. -A instances usually attach themselves into a host nervous system, allowing a corresponding SB2833 instance to manipulate that host nervous system and sensory organs. It is utilized to induce hallucinations on the target or manipulate said target's body. Internal composition of -A consists primarily of a combination of keratin and muscular tissues with traces of ash. The interior of -A contains a spermatophore. A what now? Which holds a miniature SB2833 instance. Miniature SB2833 instance found in -A instances are approximately 2 mm in length and are usually inert. What? How do you... First of all, how the fuck do you pronounce this? I guess we should listen to this one.
Spermatophores.
Spur metaphor. Oh. Spur and then metaphor. Metaphor. That's weird. That's weird. And what does it mean? A protein capsule containing a mass of spermatozoa transferred during mating of various insects or So it is actually connected to sperm, okay. Weird. Henry is definitely one of the members of the O5 Council and hosts meeting with them in your house while you're in Switzerland. Yeah, like whenever I leave, Henry just like summons like 12 more people into this place and has like meetings. It's like half of them want to check with him if he has me under control, or if I have like have any idea or anything like that, or if I'm like doing the right thing. Or the other half is discussing with him future SCPs that they have to keep containing. If Dash-A's host is a female human, Dash-A instances may deposit their respective miniature SB2833 instance in the host uterus. Oh boy. Thereupon, they will undergo growth in the host uterus and consume all organic matter in proximity. Through Dash-A, the parent SB2833 instance tends to manipulate female hosts to leave the areas of residence and reside in non-urban environs. After a period of approximately 1 year, a new SB2833 instance is born. In 100% of observed birthing events, the female host is unable to survive the process. Newborn SB2833 instances retain the memories of a respective parent SB2833 instance and are capable of speech from birth. Once born, newborn SB2833 instances tend to consume the mother's corpse. I need to get my anime glasses back charged up so I can do like it's like god damn. Notably, the death of the host does not hinder the gestation of SB2833. Instead, Dash-A generates an unidentified embalming agent to preserve the host's body until the birth of SB2833. In those cases, SB2833 instances may be born prematurely. And Henry responds with a wink during the meeting. That's not good. Sometimes I wonder if SCP rats are alright. I mean, it's the same thing with like, if you think about like, shit. What's his name again? Why is my mind blanking on him? Tim Burton. It's the same thing with Tim Burton, right? Like, a lot of times, from the sounds of his life, he was under pressure, but at the end he didn't have like a really normal life. But he was so put under like certain pressure from his like family, and he was bored as hell as well, that he just decided to like go bonkers with ideas. So I think it's the same case with like SCP writers. Like sometimes you just kind of like sit there and be like, okay, let me just be a little bit like dark and creative. It doesn't always reflect who they are as a person, of course, but whenever I read stuff like this, I'd never like immediately go like, oh, are they alright? Until you meet them and then you talk to them and you're like, okay, now I have to worry about them for sure. The first known SB2833 instance, classified as -1, was found in Himmatnagar in Gujarat, India on 1969, where it was implicated in inciting civic unrest via its anomalous properties. -1 was then extradited by Indian authorities upon the Foundation's request. The existence of multiple SB2833 instances is identified upon the identification of 4 instances of SB2833 in cemetery in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India on 1975. These SB2833 instances were previously ambushed by GOC operatives, resulting in the termination of an SB2833 instance. The remaining 3 SB2833 instances were successfully taken into Foundation custody. The presence of SB2833 instances is identified in rural areas within the Indian states of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir. The population of SB2833 is estimated to be in excess of 1,000. That's a lot happening in this one, I gotta say. There's a lot happening. And then one selected interview with SCP-2833 instance. View log 1-1. So we have the interviewee -1, Dr. Sanjay Shiom. The following interview is originally conducted in Gujarati. References to -1 have been updated. -1. Hope you are comfortable in your new quarters. We are very comfortable. That's good. I need to ask you a few questions regarding yourselves. I would like your full cooperation. Do you understand? We understand. Speak. Can you elaborate on the creatures created from your body? We are a blight. Sorry, again. We are a blight cast upon our foes and victory is claimed. It is ours. Who are you fighting? You were attacking everyone indiscriminately in Himatnagar. Enemies do not exist. Perish in the blight of rot and rust. No. We outlast all enemies now. And why do you refer yourself as we? Because there's probably thousands of those creatures inside this person. We are like the false gods of this land. We are shaped in many forms, yet we are one. Do you regard yourself as a deity? Heresy. We are merely servants to our own. Servitor to the crafter and breaker of this world. Probably not a Hindu deity, eh? Om, in Hinduism, Om or Om is a sacred syllable, primary sound associated with the creation of the divine essence of Brahman. Okay, that might be it. Maybe. View interview log 4/14. Okay, -4 this time. The following interview focused on the existence of multiple SCP-2833 instances outside of -1 and is originally conducted in Gujarati. -4, we have already identified that you and your fellows are the same genetically. Please explain. We have said before, we are one being. Sure, there must be more of you. How many of you are still out there? We are in your cages. We are distant from the horde of the ignorant. We are growing like crops and livestock. We are growing in numbers and faith. And we will grow until the ascension of Samadhi. Normally defined as a crypt containing the remains of our saints. A Samadhi. Where is it? Who is buried in it? Samadhi is beyond sight, and Doctor, the buried will rise. To be consumed is a doorway to rebirth. This is our cycle. Waiting for Samadhi with patience. I also need to check if Vaski might be... refers to the mythical serpent king of the Nagas in Hindu mythology, known for being a prominent figure associated with Lord Shiva after the big cord around his neck. The name was also recently used for Vaski in this species. But yeah, okay. Makes sense. Samadhi. And what will happen when the Samadhi arrives? We shall dance the Tandava and consume the world for its rebirth. We had a divine dance to be performed by the Hindu god Shiva, yeah. Believed to be the source of the cycle of creation, preservation, destruction. Shiva does like to dance. Shiva creates and destroys and loves to dance. We have a lot of like Hindu mythology based SCPs recently. But thank you for your time, -4. View interview log 42-6. Okay. Let me actually get ahead of time. -42 recovered from the Soviet Afghan border in 1985. We have Dr. Sanjay Shiel again. The following interview focused on the significance of Samadhi to SCP-2833 instances and originally conducted in Hindi. -42 was chosen as it's proven to be relatively cooperative among SB-283 instances contained by the Foundation. -42, can you describe Samadhi to me? If you intend to seek Samadhi, your request is in vain. We are now the interior of Samadhi, only we. We will only seek Samadhi if it poses a threat to the world. Samadhi does not threaten. It is we who were threatened. Except when the Colossi overran Samadhi. We are the remnants, but we are never defeated. I looked up already which one this is. It's the giant robot that from the Greek mythology. Which I'm pretty sure now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Hephaestus actually did build like some sort of giant mech thing. Alright, you have previously described yourself as an inheritor of Samadhi. Why is that so? We are of glorious lineage. Chosen stock of Castes Vaski. Only the strongest and most zealous may serve his purpose. To that end, we cut and consume ourselves to persist and wait for Samadhi. Why is it important for you to wait for Samadhi? The blood of our foes for our flesh and servitude. We once claimed our home by Castes Vaski's miracles, and we shall reclaim Samadhi. That is our oath to Castes Vaski. Who is this Castes Vaski? We are Castes Vaski. I don't like that SCP-2833 can manipulate organic matter. This has to be something else and messed up. Yeah, I mean that's like one thing it can do out of multiple things. The fact that also like, you know, it's a parasite, it clones itself, it makes you have to give birth, the mother don't survive so the children eat the mom. It does a lot. There's a lot that you should not be cool with. Access restricted to level 5 personnel. Addendum 2. Based on the first person account from data expunged. Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna read that. SCP-2833 is hypothesized to be an anomalous group relation to the deified civilization. Yeah, that's what's going to lead me here, yeah. However, no mention of SCP-2833 or Castes, Vaski, or similar entities have been found in SCP-140 and other affected texts. There was a quote from -42 where it was asked if any knowledge of the deified civilization. Deva. They rot as Ahhh grew. Ahhh consumed them, but only most. Some use sorcery to flee. Yeah, just realized something. Yeah, there we go. As did we. We too fled from those who intend to consume us. We fled. Cowards. Cowards! That is clearly not the true SCP-01. It is labeled as the wrong proposal. Gotcha. Access restricted to Citra Aqua personnel. That is so much. And which fucking tale did Howard tell me I should read? Letters from Benares. That's the one. Which is, I think, must be somewhere. I don't see it, but okay. And then 3 below is a partial collection of documents attributed to Sir William Henry Sir William Henry Sleeman. Sir William Henry Sleeman, 1788 till 1856, an administrator in India on behalf of the British East India Company, known for spearheading suppression efforts of the Thoji alias Orin Roysto. They were collated by GOC and released for Foundation purview on the project Citra Aqua. The rule in India speak of a caste of bizarre mystics called the Vatula. As pale as death, they bear an unusual fetish towards death and decay, and are honored and feared among the peasantry of India. They are said to hail from foreign lands northwest of India, claiming the legendary homeland as Samadhi, a great city overran by a race of giants. In terms of religion, rumors told them to revere Shiva, yet they shun the temples of Shiva and worship among themselves in private. Their personal idol is Leonine Jaraba, entwined with the Ouroboros, which only they worship. An avatar of Shiva in the form of a lion-bird hybrid. These specific symbols hearken to those of our esteemed society, perhaps as a mark of identification before the idol. The Vatula frequently chant the word Aum in praise of the spirit. In addition, all the Vatula identify themselves as Karsis Vaski, and a sacred language resembles ours. Coincidentally, the legend spoke of Karsis Vaski fleeing southwards when the Colossi overran Aditum. Did he eventually settle upon the land of India, and this Vatula be his scion? It appears that the respect and fear commanded by the Vatula is not universal. Man, it sucks that I know the fact that Casabon has to go to bed soon. And he's probably going to bed very soon. A group of and we're barely at the halfway point. A group of men indeed oppose them. Internally, they are called the Children of Kali. Yes. While outsiders fear them as Thugi? I don't know. The Children of Kali, Thugi, are aware of the Vatula, slaughtering them without spoiling blood or failing prey to the curses of the Vatula. Although imitators of the children, Thugi, I don't know how to, is it Thugi or the Thugi to exist, the children, Thugi are singled out through them exclusively targeting the Vatula. Even the best needs to red. Oh, absolutely. On the other hand, the Vatula remain wary of our attempts to interact with them. They regard themselves as the sole survivors of our faith and dismiss as us charlatans and deceivers. Perhaps we may require to express our sincerity to these ancient compatriots with the strength of action. I have received word from my allies that the Daughter of Shadow survived the implantation ritual. The Children of Kali, Thugi, shall no longer be the spawn of a non-existent idol, but only Thugi, I don't know, I think Thugi, yeah, I'm going to call it Thugi. Deceivers molded into the image of a false prophet, molded in turn by us. Daughter will be unleashed upon all of India and divide the Thugi, while the wild shall conquer them. If we exterminate the predator, the prey is allowed space to grow. The Thugi can no longer harass the Vatula, and surely they will accept us as fellows. All is well. Baron Gay has performed well as a sacrifice to our cause. His testimony spreads further discord among the Thugi. In addition to the internal corruption by the Daughter, we'll attempt to round up the remaining Thugi and have them culled and slaughtered and harvested. If necessary, we may persecute and strike down the Daughter just as much as the Thugi, both true and false. In private, I have audience with several of the Vatula. It is unfortunate for them to be so reduced from their ancestral glory. They certainly recall the Covenant religiously, but little else beyond that. With each cycle of transmigration, it appears that less of the mind and body are retained. The self and the need to reclaim samadhi, which should be aditum, are retained, but they are mostly degenerates at this point, madmen lost in the wind. Among those I had audience with, there is only one who retained a semblance of ancient wisdom. A Chiron amongst the Vatula. Hey, you combining the Greek myth with the Hindu myths now. I have already arranged for him to be sent away to our other holdings so that the vestige of his wisdom may benefit the great society. Even so, I may be exaggerating the wisdom of this Chiron, and I know not when insanity claims this vestige of Karsis Vaski. And then we have additional materials on SCP-2833 recovered from an anonymous private collection. Oh. Ah, yeah, this is the tale I'm supposed to read. I'm going to read it afterwards. We almost finished it, so I'm going to read it after the other addendum. Addendum 5 on 2014, Mobile Task Force Beta 12 Icebreakers has recovered the carcass of an unknown humanoid in Krasnoyarsk Krai, Russia. An autopsy report of the recovered entity as follows. Autopsy report 74 subject dash 74, mass 184.3 kilograms, height 1.82 meters, age unknown. Detailed subject possesses an overgrowth of muscular tissue and bone with particular emphasis of subject limbs. DNA testing verifies that it is an SP2A33 instance. Dash A instances are identified inside the subject's internal organs. Subject body is modified to contain an organ analogous to the uterus in its lower abdomen, containing an infant SP2A33 instance designated 75. Due to the marked difference from SP2A33, -74 and -75 are slated for classification as a subspecies of SP2A33. Pending confirmation as such, 75 will be exempted from Section 377 of CETRA Arco Joint Agreement. The best need to rest and the worst need to rot, yeah. Mechanic, do you actually have anybody that you dislike in our world? Like, is there any, like, person that you see online that you're like, oh god, this person really makes me angry, really frustrates me? Do you have, like, out of all the people, Mechanic is probably like one of the most positive people I've ever come across. Like, they keep saying positive, they are friendly, but I do wonder, is there somebody that, like, in your life or that you have seen online and you go like, ooh, this person, I do not vibe with them at all, I do not like them at all. In the meantime, I'm going to read this letter, which is average length, from Letters from Benares. The following letters were recovered from a private collection and filed as part of the additional materials relating to SP2A33. Benares, 12 May 1909. Dear Cousin Emily. Greetings from British Garage. How terribly grand that sounds. Honestly, I can hardly believe we are all so far away from home and school and everything normal in the world. Do write and tell how England is getting along without us. I shan't bore you with the details of the journey, which was tedious, especially with Eleanor's constant complaints. Mother tells me I should be more understanding, but why must I have had an older sister whose only thoughts are of dresses and boys? I wish she were sensible like you. Anyway, here we are in Benares. It is so different here. Beastly hot and dusty, with flies everywhere, and it smells of mud and rotting fruit and worse things. But everything is exciting and new. We were driven through the town, and there were men with turbans and women in silk dresses of pink and orange and blue, and Winard, our driver, stopped for a huge cow in the middle of the road, and I drank a mango lassi. Have you had one? They're delicious. We reached a new house, which is all white and wicker, and surrounded by shade trees, and blessedly cool, which will be good for Mother while she recuperates. Father says it is called the Ambassador's House, although he's only a license to the Maharaja. They have a Maharaja here, can you believe it? And even better, we have our own personal guru. He's not called that, of course, he's a sadhu or something, but Eleanor and I have decided to call him Guru. He even looks the part, with a saffron robe around his waist and bangles on his arms and white whiskers. I have a bad feeling about this, by the way, guys. I have a feeling that this poor person's gonna experience some bullshit. And white whiskers, he's ever so impressive. He met us in front of the gate and Father offered him some money. But even though he looks very poor, he refused and said he just wanted to bless the house, so of course we invited him in and gave him some tea. He did a very elaborate blessing, told us it would keep the evil spirits away, and Mother said he can come back and tell us about all the strange customs here. I'm very excited about it, but everything is exciting here. I can't wait to write more and tell you. News from the far reaches of the Empire, Violet. And it's now the next one also Violet? Yeah. So now, okay, so the first one was in May. And now we're in August. A couple months have passed. The snake YouTubers, I imagine. But I am curious, like, does Mechanic have somebody who they just don't like? Because, like, the way Mechanic is, my sister's ex, but as much as I will share an online person. An online person, there are many. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to go into detail about your sister's ex. I can kind of, like, immediately understand. I think everybody understands the moment you say, like, I don't like my sister's ex. They're like, okay, that guy's an asshole. he had done something that you don't like. And that's all we have to say. Benares, 22nd August, 1909. Dear Cousin Emily, I love to receive your letter and to know that mine made it through. I am pleased to hear that you are well, and your work for the church sounds very interesting. You have to tell me more about it when you have time. After weeks of tremendous thunderstorms, it is hot and dry all over again here. It makes one wonder whether the seasons ever change, or if we are able to be, or if we are all to be roasted here until our skin turns brown and cracks like potatoes in the oven. Oh dear, it's too awful, but that has just reminded me. Mother, Eleanor and I took a trip into the city last fortnight to see some of the sights. We even took a boat along the Ganges, which really is quite extraordinary. The river is so wide and old and slow, like an elephant wandering through the city, and full of little boats shuttling to and fro. The water is dark green, and the buildings rise up on either side, yellow and sandy colored. There are wide steps all the way down to the water edges, and peoples everywhere, washing their clothes, bathing, and even praying. Guru came with us, of course, and he told the boatman to take us to Manikarnika God. He told us that it was a very holy religious place, but the Hindus come to cremate the dead. I could smell the smoke before I saw it, along with the usual odor of the city, and another smell almost sweet. When we came closer, there was a temple with tall spires like round-head helmets, blackened from the smoke. On the steps to the river there were 3 fires burning and people dressed in white circling around them. We didn't go very close, but Guru told us all about the rituals. He said that the Hindus believe that the bodies are destroyed to allow the spirits to be reincarnated in another form. I told him that Christians believe in the resurrection of the body, and he laughed and said that sounded like a good idea, and maybe we should try to keep our bodies living long in the first place. I thought he was teasing me, but he wants to teach us yoga for our health, and Mother has said yes. I asked Renard later how to spell Manikarnika God, and he gave me a strange look. Then I overheard him telling Mother not to let Guru take us to places like that. And the Guru lives in the cemetery and believes strange things, but Mother said it was all perfectly natural. I think Renard said Eleanor names too. I wonder if he is sweet on her. It would be just like her. All boys in England love her. So why not here? How I long for your company instead of hers. I hope you write and tell me how you are. Yours faithfully, Violet. But I prefer to be positive. Hence, I enjoy when you guys tease and joke with me. Yeah. Yeah, at the end, like we don't mean any harm. And then so far you have never said anything that will make me go, okay, you pissed me off. You know what I mean? Like so far, like it hasn't happened. Unlike a certain other person from like a year ago, is it now, since they last watched my streams? I think it's been a while. Hydrate. I've been drinking so much over the stream. Benoist, 3rd December 1909. Also, in case you guys don't understand, like, I wonder if he's sweet on her. Basically means like, do they have a crush? It's very British, very British. Do they have a crush on her? Do they want to be with her? But now, okay, dear Emily, I read your letter with great interest, especially your church excursion to the South Downs. It must have been charming there with the autumn fruits and cream teas. I really think you have the best kind of life. Life here continues as ever. Father has found me a tutor to continue my lessons, but I'm afraid he's an astounding bore. Fortunately, we have our visits from Guru to enliven us. So the Guru really is like the man. Like, he's bringing excitement into this lady's life for sure. He has been teaching us yoga, even farther when he is able. We all sit cross-legged on mats or out under the banyan tree outside, wearing loose linens. No doubt you will be scandalized, but everything is much more informal here. I think it's to do with the heat. I'm learning more in my yoga lessons than any others. You know that yoga means to join or to attach? It's all about letting parts of the body grow and expand and join into each other. New body parts opening up. Like we have a third eye in the middle of our forehead and... Sorry, I'm not explaining it very well. Let me try again. In our first lesson we sat down and Guru made us do deep breathing. He thought I did it very well, and he was very pleased when he learned that I'm left-handed. Apparently there's a left-handed path that he thinks everyone should follow. So I laughed and told Eleanor that I'm ahead of her already. Then we had to say a mantra, which sounds like Om, but you have to say it very slowly while doing the breathing. And Guru told us all about the magical serpent that lives inside us, and you say the mantra to make it rise up through your body until it bursts out through your head and reach something called Samadhi, which I think is something like Nirvana. It's quite hard to write properly about it, but it's fascinating. It's all made a lot of sense when Guru was talking. I don't trust a Guru no more, especially since he lives in the cemetery. One time when we were doing our stretches, Guru saw Mother's scar from when the doctors had cut out the tumor. He was very upset and told us that the English doctors didn't understand what they were doing, that he knew some medicines that would have been better. I have never seen him get angry before, but he soon apologized and said he just wanted to make sure we were as healthy as we could be. And so I will sign off by wishing you good health too. And a happy Christmas. I've asked for a fly swallow for Christmas to keep the ghastly things away from me. Yours with love and best wishes, Violet. There's only like 2 more, well 3 more. It's kind of less me by a minute, but I'm hearing that tale of your feelings you get an insight and send you to missing. I like meatballs, so I think okay. And I've explored knowing these kick the body grows and expands probably way more literal than normal. Oh yeah, Starkicks are sort of what? So that's why he was like mad. It's like, oh no, don't. Oh no! Why did you take the cancer out? It's like, pardon me? You should have kept the cancer inside you. No, I definitely do not want to keep the cancer inside. You do not understand. You don't understand what you have done. What you have lost. Police. Benares, 1st of March 1910, so a year has passed now. Dear cousin, thank you for your letter. You did sound a little stern with your warning about Eastern philosophy. I know that your work at church makes you concerned about our spiritual guidance, but you needn't worry, Emily. It's all a bit of luck and something to pass the days here. And Guru makes some very interesting observations, even Father says so. Yesterday he took up to visit a temple just outside of the city. Benares has 20,000 temples, and Mother, Eleanor and I have seen many of them, but Guru said that this one was different. One thing, it was in the middle of the jungle, and the entrance was cut into the rock of the hillside. I'm surprised that Vinod even drove us out there, but he's much better disposed to Guru lately, though some of the other servants object to his visits. Some of them have even deserted their posts. Would you credit it? But back to the temple. Inside, there was light filtering from somewhere above, where it was faint, and the chambers were dark green and shadowy. There were carvings in the stone walls which were quite old and mysterious. Some looked like the battles from the Ramayana, with huge juggernauts and the demons from Lanka all fighting. I saw a man who looked like he had a long elephant trunk, and asked Guru if it was Ganesha, but he just laughed at me and told me that they didn't worship Ganesha in this temple. Some of the older carvings weren't very good. All the people looked funny, like they weren't drawn right. First of all, fucking props to her. After 1 year, you already learned like majority of like the mythological and religious creatures of Hinduism. That is not easy. Like, of course you can like learn it really quickly like the first like 2 to 3 months, but like still, you know, especially if you grow up Christian, sometimes you have like this aversion of like, I don't want to learn anything else. So props to her for like after a year she kind of like, oh, I know the characters by name, how they're supposed to look like. We went into the chamber, which had a hole in the ground, and I couldn't see where it stopped. It was so dark. I wanted to see if it were echo, and Guru told us all to sit and close our eyes, and we could say our mantra together. Well, I must confess it was the queerest thing. When we said our mantra, it was as if the echoes came right back out of the pit. And the air felt like it was humming. It gave me the shivers, rather, but it was invigorating, like my body was just waking up. I'm sure that Mother and Eleanor felt it too. I wish you could have been there. I must get to dinner. A roast goat. Even Renaud, who used to be vegetarian, has changed his mind. Guru says that meat is meant to be eaten and is the first step to true knowledge. He knows so many interesting things. Guru's in the quest for true knowledge. But, oh yeah, she's slowly being changed. Saki got basically two more benders. Not really, but more like flesh bandits in general. Yeah, they... From what I can tell from the many times like Sarkic had mentioned, flesh has been a major main theme for them, or like a interest. P.S. I had to show this letter to Mother, so I couldn't write this before. I have shocking news. Eleanor is to have a baby. Well, Mother will be livid, but they don't know yet. I found Eleanor crying, she made me promise not to tell anyone. I'm sure I can tell you. She would not explain it, but she sounded very upset and confused. Could we not? What will father do? So, what do we know about those insects? They do make you pregnant, which now means that Eleanor is not going to survive. Ugh, that is worrisome. And we're not changing, yeah, definitely very much like a influence on from the Flash as well, because the Flash probably, you know, one meat. Benares, 30th May 1910. Dearest Emily, I'm so delighted to hear that you are coming to visit us. I'm not sure whether this will reach you before you leave, but I just had to tell you. You'll find us all in marvelous shape. Guru had done wonders for our health with his advice on new diets. Honestly, you will hardly recognize me when you see me. Even Eleanor is glowing. Would you believe she's already showing? Mother and father were most gracious in accepting our new arrival once they spoke with Guru. He tells us that the arrival of a new baby boy, he is certain that it will be a boy, is a cause for celebration, as the cycle of reincarnation continues. Just think, Emily, another member of our family, our own flesh and blood. Don't like how you said that, especially that we know that babies eat their moms. When you arrive, do come straight up to the house. No need to wait for the servants to meet you, as the ones who are still with us will be busy preparing for your arrival. Also, I wonder if like the servants that left the posts, if something happened to them. It is an arrival eagerly awaited by all here. It will be awfully jolly to have you join our growing clan. Yours, avidly, Violet. From HMTEL off 3346A Ben IND to Patriarch Log Our Lady of Reformation Hackney, London, 17th of June 1910. Situation as expected, family irrecoverable. Stop tragic house fire. Remains confirmed inert including child. Stop. Guru whereabouts unknown. Investigation proceedings. Stop. India presence concerning may require missionary send word. Stop. MF Emily Kavanagh. Emily Kavanagh retired from public life in 1961 and is presumed deceased. The collected belongings recovered with the correspondence above have been retained for analysis in connection with the activities of the Church of the Broken God in various British Commonwealth countries. Oh, so he was actually working for the Church of the Broken God while we have a saw kick. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that because the amount of times we get, like, you know, in regular life we have, of course, like, you know, the whole clash of religions, right? So I like how the Church of the Broken God and Sarkic is also, in a way, a clash of religion, but it's two fictional religions clashing against each other. So that's cool. I like that. At the end, I don't want people to fight over religion and their beliefs. I don't want people to be like my religion is the right one or mine makes sense and it's the only way to live. But sometimes, but I do like. It is part of happened history, you know, it is part of happened history, and the fact that it kind of like made that into a tale is very fascinating, especially given the fact that like now we have one who's following the Sarkic beliefs and one is following the Church of the Broken God's belief. It's like it's kind of crazy to think that two of the family members like joined these group of interests by pure coincidence, probably as well. So I kind of like that. I think that's it's. I'm not gonna say it.